Uh-oh. It's time to do my hair. Huh. Okay. This life. If you don't know God, you're in trouble. Hey, hey. In a perfect world, hii revival, Africa revival imeanza. Hmm? The world is changing. Hmm? Revival is starting. It has begun. The shift has begun. And I know some of you, you don't even believe in the shift, but the shift has already begun. Hmm? The shift has already begun. If you see the events that are happening in Kenya, you know that the shift has begun. Hmm? The shift has begun. Kenyans are now starting to know the truth, and they are starting to tell the truth. Huh? Kenya, watu wameanza kuamka. It's now or never. It's now or never. My sweet Africa. Hmm? The world is changing. The shift, people don't believe it, but the shift has already begun for the world. Everything is about to change. Everything is changing. Well, if you can't see the world changing, too bad for you. too bad for you, you know. Because if you can't see the world changing around you, sahizi, at this point in our lives, if you can't see that the world is changing, ni shida yako. Maybe nothing. Like everything is changing siku hizi. Everything is about to change. Mm? The revival has begun. Why? It's going to be. Mm? It's going to be tough one because ukiangalia, if you see what the Pope said, the Pope, the new Pope Leo the 14th, told Traore that he agrees with him. He agrees with him that, you know, the church in general has been complicit in the destruction of Africa, you know, in the plundering of Africa. Walituletea neno. Huh? Walituletea neno, but hiyo neno hiyo neno ni maneno, you know. Only God can save us now. Only God can save us now. The world, the way things are going right now, people are not watching. The distraction kwanza, I think the distraction is going to start right here in America, you know. Right now we are moving into very dangerous grounds hapa US, and people are not talking about it. The people who are just complaining are just complaining, but things might actually become very dangerous, very, very dangerous, very quickly. And nobody wants to even admit the fact that the US is going to become very dangerous for migrants under this regime that we are in. I don't know why people act as if it's nothing. Like, it's nothing to be concerned about. It's nothing to talk about. It's not that important. Now, things are actually taking a very, very, you know, dangerous ground here. Okay, so I don't know if people will lose birthright citizenship, but they might lose birthright citizenships. You know, migrants here in the US, they might lose birthright citizenship. So, you know, that means you're a migrant. Hi, KK. Hi, love. That means if you're a migrant and you are born in the US, you may not have a country. Because guess what? Maybe your country of birth doesn't know you. Maybe you've never even lived outside of the US, but you wake up one day and you are countryless. You are not a citizen of any country per se. I'm talking about Americans who are going to probably lose their birthright citizenship. If they were born in the US and they were migrants and from migrant families, they might lose their right to citizenship by birth. Okay? And a lot of people, these things are happening, and a lot of people, they don't see the gravity of the matter. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody even thinks it's a big deal. But things are changing here in the US for the worse. We are going to move into a fascist empire pretty soon. And I don't even know how this is going to look for migrants. I don't know how this, I'm actually, for the first time, I'm afraid about how things are moving here in the US. I'm actually very afraid. On an international scale, I had the Pope. I am still listening to his speech, but he was responding to Traore, Ibrahim Traore. The Pope agrees that the church has been complicit in exploitation of Black people, in exploitation of African resources. At least there is some direction there that kind of makes sense, but I don't see how, world leaders are going to stand up to Trump. And then, Trump just accepted a jet, $400 million jet from Qatar. And I don't know, Americans don't care. They really don't care. As long as Trump can do whatever he wants. He can be as corrupt as he gets. Americans, at this point, I think they are numb. I think the Democrats are numb, and MAGA is just happy that people are going to lose their birthright citizenship, so it doesn't matter if the president gets a jet from Qatar for free and he rides into the sunset. I mean, for me, I'm seeing Trump administration, and I'm looking at the administration that we have in Kenya of Ruto, and those two administrations are just the same in that they just want to loot as much money as they can. It's a looting scheme, and people don't care because people like to vote for these popular people, who say what they want to hear, and that's it. And that's it. I'm so disappointed in so many levels. When I was moving to America, I was moving for the freedoms here. And now it's becoming a fascist empire. And I'm like, what the hell? I don't want to stay here in this kind of climate of, hate and all that. I'm like, I moved here because I thought it was a country of people who are nice and all that. But now it's a lot of migrants don't even see how dangerous it is. And I haven't even seen other groups of migrants coming up and kind of vocalizing that they will not vote the same way that they voted in 2024. So I don't know. You guys, I feel that the world is changing. And I feel that we are moving into kind of like a new era. If you can see from where I stand, let's say for me as a Kenyan, where I stand and the way that I see the world moving, right? I see that, okay, Kenya, for example, the world has seen Kenya in tears in 2025. Everybody saw Gen Z rejecting the budget that was proposed by the administration. But the thing is, Kenya is starting to wake up. And a lot of African countries are beginning to wake up. Now they can see that they have been electing governments that don't serve them, governments that only serve the West. And this is what somebody like Ibrahim Traore is talking about. He is complaining that a lot of even the church has been racist and complicit in exploitation of Africa, and that is what Tari was telling the new Pope, the Leo the 14th, that he hopes that this Pope will be different and that he will tell people the truth. And the Pope does not disagree. The Pope is like, yeah, I've been around the world and I've seen it myself. The new Pope is like, yep, I have seen this and I'm bearing witness whatever you're saying as a son of Africa. I agree with you 100%. You know, it's refreshing that the new Pope can say those things, because his predecessors would just sit silently and watch the looting, the exploitation, and they also take part. Let me not say that any institution, whether it's the Catholic Church or it's the government set up by Western institutions, is not meant to benefit Africans. It's actually meant to exploit Africa for the benefit of the West. So any institutions that they bring to Africa, whether it's the United Nations or is the Catholic Church or whatever program, the Green Program or whatever it is, if it's coming from the West, trust me, it's just meant to benefit the West and exploit the rest of the planet. Now, at least Africa is waking up and seeing the reality, and that's why we have leaders like Traore. I just wish he was the president of Kenya right now, because we hate our president. All Kenyans hate our president by now, and Ibrahim Traore could be Kenya's president too. Actually, I would vote for him. If Ibrahim Traore wants to come and campaign in Kenya and become our president, I'm giving him my vote. He has my vote. And I think it's time in Africa we just decide that you don't have to be born in a particular country. If you're born in Africa, you can become president of any country, because I would want somebody like Traore to come and become Kenya's president. In Kenya, we don't have good leaders. We don't have people who we can be like, oh, this person would be great for Kenyan president. Most Kenyans will steal, will lie, they're money hungry. I just don't trust Kenyans myself, okay? And this is why it's shocking, because I came to America because I thought, well, America is a little bit better. There are freedoms here. But, you wake up one day and then America has gone into the arms of a fascist regime. Now we are in a fascist empire and we are ruled by, some of the most stupid people there are, MAGA, MAGA politics, okay? It's a joke, but they know how to vote, and that's how we got here. And yeah, I mean, they're not that stupid if they can vote and they can turn out in large numbers and take over government. And in the US, the politics are terrible because the winner takes it all. And when I mean it all, is the $400 million jet. The president gets to go on vacation and play golf every day. That's what it means to take it all completely. So we are in that kind of a fascist regime now. We are in the new fascist empire, and it's just going to be oppressive. Just know that this regime right now is going to be oppressive to you if you're a person of color. And if you don't believe me, just look at what happened the other day. Trump gave asylum to white South Africans. If you're white, you can get asylum. Your case can be processed within a day, and your road to get new papers and live in America, that can happen overnight. And this is why I don't even trust the Democrats. Because if the Democrats really wanted to stand up for the people who vote for them, the black people, the people of color, the gay people, they would also make sure that these people, if, for example, if you're gay and you're coming from a different country that's being, where you're prosecuted, you know, you would think that when the Democrats are in power, they would use the same authority and power to pave way for people who actually vote for them. But they come to power and they don't do much sometimes. They don't know. I think even the liberals do a better job than the Democrats, because now why are we in a situation where, people might lose their birthright citizenship, is because the Democrats did nothing. They did nothing when they were in power to secure those rights. And then, what do they expect? They have to fight for the rights of the people who voted for them. Now, I wonder if the next time the Democrats are in power, they'll have balls. They will have balls to stand up for this, for everything MAGA is doing right now, because MAGA doesn't care. They have shown us that the rule of law is not important to them. As long as they get their way, that's all that matters. And now, because we are in this situation, will the Democrats have the balls to be bold, to be like, okay, you think you can bring in white South Africans to the country and give them papers? Fine. Then we can also give birthright citizenship and actually process citizenship for everybody who has applied. All the dreamers, we can just sign and approve and make them American citizens just like that. They can do that. They can do that. But will they do that the next time they're given power? Will they actually stand up, for the people who voted for them? Because that's exactly what they should be doing right now. Those are the promises they should be telling us that they will do right now. So Noah Rodriguez. Noah Rodriguez. Noah Rodriguez, you're stupid because your name says you're a Rodriguez. And your kind is the kind that Donald Trump hates. Okay? White people hate you because you're a Rodriguez. When you apply for jobs, they tell you you are a Hispanic non-white. You are not white. Okay? And you're here calling me a monkey because you think you're white. You're stupid. Let me tell you. Okay? You're stupid. Because it means you don't even know how politics work. People hate you. People hate you and you're kind. You have no self-love, no self-preservation. Okay? That's why Americans don't have respect for you. They think that your job, if your last name is Rodriguez, your job is to climb up a tree and help keep their roof safe from damaging their tree, because they don't think you have any brain cells to do much more. And you're here calling me a monkey when I'm trying to educate you, because you're stupid, about the politics and what's happening. Stupid people like you. This is why we don't have hope, because of people like Noah Rodriguez. This is why the world has no hope of becoming a better place. Okay? He comes here being racist because he thinks he's much better than me, because he's Hispanic. Okay? Hi SGL. Hi love. I'm doing my hair. I'm undoing it actually. And talking politics. So this stupid man called Noah Rodriguez comes here and he calls me a monkey. He's a loser. And you know, these are the kind of confused Hispanics who go voting for the wrong party because their pastor told them that if they don't vote for the Republicans, they might go to hell or something might happen. You know, they are just zombies just waiting to be told what to do with their vote, right? And then they vote against the rights of their own people, their very own people. They vote against them because they hate themselves. How you gonna tell how you know, they just don't understand. Like when they do that, let me just talk about it a little. They don't understand how stupid other white people are looking at them and being like, oh, you voted for us, good for you, we are going to get you out of this country. You know, we can bring in white people, but we're going to get you out of this country as quickly as we can. But when you tell these people the truth, they don't even want to hear it. This is why I'm telling you, we woke up from a democracy into fascism, because we have stupid people. My problem is that these stupid people, they think they're better than black people. At least we love ourselves. At least we would not vote against our own rights. We are not, we and Hispanics are different. We don't love our oppressors. you can, you know, and that level of thinking is what, for me, I have a problem with. People who don't love themselves are stupid. They'll never grow. You can never, what can I tell you? What can I tell them? Please, Noah, I feel sorry for people like you. Sorry is the only thing I have for you. You know, I'm a very proud black woman. I love every aspect of me as a black woman. Very proud. I love my skin, I love my hair, I love my accent, I love people who look like me. I would never vote for them to be oppressed, okay? I don't behave white at all, okay? Call that wokeness, call that whatever, but I'm not a zombie. I'm not sleepwalking through life pretending, you know, to be better than other people, voting against my own interests. Yeah, they are a bunch of zombies. They just do what they're told by their pastor without even thinking, oh, is this good for me? Is this good for my people? No, they this is the reason, we have problems in the world. Because people hate themselves. Like, who's going to teach you in the world how to love yourself? I don't know. So exactly why? What about President Trump? Okay, I mean, President Trump is an asshole, and he knows he's an asshole, and he don't care, right? But he does that because he's selfish, and he's going to do that to his selfish end. I mean, I can understand that kind of Machiavellian politics, okay? I can understand that if he He just loves white people. He's just going to do everything to help and protect the white race. I can understand his politics. I don't agree with it, but I understand his politics. He just wants white supremacy at any cost. That's what he's going for. And the people who voted for him, they are voting for him for that. I I don't agree with those politics, but I understand. What I don't understand is the people whose rights are being are being taken away, who vote for somebody like Trump. Now, those are the problem, because you should be able to look at somebody and be like, no, you don't have my vote because I don't like you. Because I don't trust you. Like, how can somebody tell you you have zero reasons to trust me? Zero. And then you vote for them. Now that's the problem I have. I was like, okay, let's say like the teachers. Everybody who read Project 2025 knows that education is on the top of the list of the Trump administration. He wants to cut it out. Whatever problems Trump has with the Republican Party or the Heritage Foundation have with the education system in America, I don't care, because I didn't get educated in this system. I agree. Every system of education has its own problems. Even where I got educated, right? Every system has its own problems. Now, if I was a teacher and you told me that you are going, the first order of business is take my job away from me and funding away from me, I would not vote for you. Why? Because I love myself and I love my job and I am self-preservationist. Okay? But teachers voted for this administration. So, you know what? I don't think they deserve to be teachers, and I don't think they deserve to teach, and I wouldn't want them teaching my kids. You know why? Because if you don't think your job is important enough for you to vote for it, then you should probably not be a teacher. Then it's probably not that important. So as GM says, I should come to Europe. So that's all I say. It's not, if you don't believe in teaching and then you vote away funding for schools, that's okay. But if you're a teacher and you vote for funding to be removed from schools, it just tells me you're either a terrible teacher and you don't believe in your job, or or you're just an illogical person who should not teaching my kids anyway. So with my hair, when I'm undoing it, I have to be careful because I don't want to pull it and I don't want to damage my hair. African hair is very delicate. I know when you look at it, it doesn't look like it's delicate, but it's actually very, very delicate. And if you pull it, or if you work with it too fast, you might actually damage it, and it might break very, very. This hair will punish you very quickly. If you're not gentle and loving to black hair, you're going to damage it. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of black girls don't have long hair, is because they use all these products that damage hair. And I've come to learn that I've been doing my hair wrong for a long time. So that's why I'm more gentle right now with my hair. I want to do some cornrows for now. Yep. Do a protective hairstyle. So anyway, I think as people wake up, as people start to love themselves, and they understand politics and how it's impacting their lives and their economies and their homes, I think people will start waking up. And it's the same way, the way we vote is just one way that, you can tell people don't love themselves. But there are also other ways that we show ourselves whether we care about ourselves. Like, let's say you go and work in a terrible job for 10 years. It's a job that you hate every day and you never choose to do anything different with your life. You know, that tells me you're a zombie sleepwalking through life, because nobody's going to come and change that life situation for you, no matter how much you try. But you know, we live in a world where people think they don't have a choice, that they are zombies, they can be told what to do, and they just do whatever they're told to do without using their brain cells. You know, I think the first thing for a human being needs to do is to wake up one day and respect the fact that they have a brain and that they can think for themselves. And I think a lot of people don't ever want to even think for themselves. And that's why a lot of people live this life of a slave, because, well, if you don't think for you, your mom will think for you, your preacher will think for you, your pastor will think for you, your doctor will think for you. You don't have to use your brain cells. Just be told what to do by other people, you know, and remove all agency from your life, I guess. SGM, where in Europe are you from? Look at that. Stress. People are so stressed out that they're sleepwalking through life. You know, the quickest way for other people to control you, if you want other people to control you, stay stressed out. When you're stressed out, other people will control you. Because when you're stressed out, you cannot think for yourself. It's impossible, scientifically impossible, for you to be in stress mode and to be thinking for yourself and make proper decisions for yourself. But a lot of people, they get into this lifestyle where they'll perpetually be in survival mode and stressed out, and they'll never ever be able to take control of their life. And no matter how much you tell people, value your freedom, people don't want freedom. People don't want freedom. I notice people don't want freedom. People want other people to think for them. People don't want an ability to think. It's too much. That's why it's easy for politicians like Trump to con everyone. Hi, KK. I'm trying to make cornrows, protective hairstyles. Tell you, I'm not a hairstylist, but let me tell you, I am done going to African hairstylists who pull my hair, because I want to still have a hairline. I don't want no alopecia. And the way they pull my hair has made me come to the realization that no, I'd rather do this thing by myself. I want to preserve my hairline. Ever since I was small, I always had problems with with my hairstylist. People who wanted to do my hair because they were pulling my hair, and then they would complain that the reason they are pulling my hair is because my hair is too short. I'm like, that's not a good reason because you're supposed to know your job. I just don't want to be in pain. And then if they had to do my hair, then I had to straighten my hair and use heat on my hair. And we all know that heat is very bad on African natural hair. And so it would be this endless drama about how people are mishandling my hair. I just got tired of it. I got tired of it. I'm like, I'll figure out my hair. I'm not the best braider in town, but I'll do whatever it needs to be done. Yep. So I'm still undoing my hair. You see, I got some braided hair still. I put lots of oil in my hair. Anyway, I'm done complaining about politics. SG, I'm done. SG, I'm done. I'm not going to talk no more about politics today. It's done. If people want to live in a fascist empire, that's fine with me. I'll just buy a gun. And if you come near my house, I'ma shoot you. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, we. It's called standing my ground. It's called standing my ground. Stand your ground law. You come to my house, you want to attack me, I have the right to self-defense. That's all I'm going to say. You know? For me, I don't know. Give me death, give me liberty, or give me death. That's where I stand on the matter of my personal freedoms. You know? It's liberty or death. Because who wants to live in a slave system? Nobody. Nobody's going to be happy. That's not the quality of life. I'm just waiting to see how dangerous they're going to make this country become. Because right now, the constitution is not in operation. The rule of law is like not really the rule of law anymore. And I saw this happening. This didn't just happen overnight. This started happening over time. Where in Europe are you? What part of Europe? If I was to go to Europe, I'd probably go to a place like Finland. I hear Finnish people are well educated. That would Amsterdam, yeah, Dutch people are also well educated, you know. It would be nice to leave these insufferable MAGA people behind. God. To be honest, there are people I don't talk to anymore. There are white people who are my friends before the election. I just don't talk to them anymore. I mean, I'm not saying they're my enemies. It's just that, I got nothing else. Like, it's just like, I don't know what we're gonna talk about. You voted for people who would rather see me dead. And then they're like, I'm not a one issue voter. I'm like, sounds like one issue to me. And that is racism. Hello. You're not a one issue voter. That was the whole issue, racism in this election. You are a one issue voter. And you hate me. So I don't know why I can pretend that we can be friends. We can't. Yikes. They are quite strange. It's kind of like living in a schizophrenic environment, you know? Like, it's kind of schizophrenic. If you think about it, somebody was saying Americans, they went to fight the Nazis in Germany, right? But right here at home in America, they were still very, very racist themselves and taking away the rights of black people still here in America, and they are going to fight a fascist regime in Germany. They would rather live next to a Nazi sometimes. White Americans would rather live next to a Nazi than live next to a black person. That's how schizophrenic this country can be sometimes. Like, people can hold those two, and then they will still say they are Christians. And I'm like, what God are you serving? Is it the devil? I don't understand. I don't understand it, okay? And still they will say, they don't care about the kids, the Palestinian kids dying. And I'm like, and you're Christian? What God, like, what kind of Bible are you reading? Because I'm Christian too. And I don't know. I heard God is love from the Bible that I read. Trust me, that is the Christian party. And then Christians wonder why the rest of the world thinks that they are a bunch of hypocrites. Okay? They wonder why the rest of the world thinks like they're a bunch of hypocrites. The Buddhist religion is way more peaceful than the Christian religion in some ways, right? Because, oh my God, the kingdom of God is supposed to be in the heart. But with these Christians, I don't know what they are serving.